Welcome to Move and Improve, where we get behind the stage of Let's Get Moving, and today we're also going to get behind the scenes of Clutch Moving. Welcome, Stepven.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I am good. Love Toronto. Toronto has been one of my most favorite places to visit. Here's the thing with Toronto, very clean, very nice people, and there's a lot of things to do here. And I really, really appreciate you for having me here, and I really appreciate you for taking me out for everything.
Of course.
Love Toronto. I'm going to visit here again, so you're going to take us out again.
I hope so. Have you been to Canada before, or that was the first time?
First time, and it's not going to be my last time. I was so impressed about the people here.
Really?
And then just the hospitality. Everything here is so nice, so clean, and everywhere you go, there's just so many things to do.
We're like a village, so we gotta be, we gotta be welcoming.
No, seriously, because we went to Toronto and then we went to the other place the other day, and there's just so many things to do, and I'm impressed. It's definitely not like the States, so I love it. We'll be here again.
I'm glad to hear, man. I'm glad to hear. I had a great time you being here. This weekend was a lot of fun. We had a good time. We had a good time. And here we are now. Thanks for extending your flight, because we needed an extra day just so we could do this.
It might be another extra day.
Oh, yeah. It's getting late. You might miss your flight.
I just might.
It'll be fine. We'll go out to dinner. You'll make it tomorrow. You'll make it someday back.
We will. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's just her.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We'll figure it out after this.
Either way, it's been great, man. It's been good having you here. It's been good spending time with you, going to the gym, spending a day in the life of Let's Get Moving.
Right. Yeah.
Right? How was that? How was our day together?
So it was very, very interesting. So very spending the time with you and really being inside of every single one of your meetings. First and foremost, I want to thank you for doing that.
Of course.
And just coming in to understand how your day looks like. It was very interesting. One of the main things that I really understood about you and the whole business was how many decisions you make on a daily basis. You literally made, if I could count, you made 30 decisions in the matter of 4 hours. And that was they always talk about very, very successful people make decisions and then figure it out later.
Yeah.
And that was a true testament of that, because all the decisions you're making, I'm and then also about that, you didn't even you didn't care about the decision. All you said was all right, figure it out, and then we'll worry about it later. And I was like, damn, that was fucking insane, because a lot of people when they think about a decision, they have to think about it a day, 2 days, but you're all right, do it, and then we'll figure it out later. Especially with somebody that we both know, and you're we'll do it for 3 months, and then we could just test it how it goes.
Absolutely.
So I was oh shit, that in real time was crazy to me.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I do feel that sometimes, I feel I get presented with an issue, and it's such a big issue, and I feel I got to think about it for so long to get the right answer, right?
Right.
But before I even get the chance to think about it, I'm already getting thrown many different problems already. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to deal with a different huge problem as well at the same time. So I have to be able to figure it out and figure out some sort of solution and put people on the path. Because the way I look at it is that the ball can never be on our court, right? If a problem comes, we got to bounce it back right away. So you got to figure out what to do right then and there when you have, you saw every minute somebody's coming through the door with a huge problem, and I got to figure it out, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's cool that you figured that out, that you realized that.
But I also want to touch on that. I seen literally 5 to 6 people at a time just come knock on your door, and then you're just just come in, and then you would make a decision right then and there, and it was, but a lot of the people that I've witnessed and I've been around, they would be oh, I got to think about it. Let me think about this, and you're just do it, all right, do it, all right, next, and then it was crazy. So you just have to, one thing that I really learned and I took away from this whole trip was make a decision now. Yeah. Don't worry about it, and we'll figure about later. And one thing that I've heard you say was fail fast so you can learn fast.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, fail fast so you can win fast. Yeah, there's so many things you get thrown at that you have to make that decision. And obviously somebody like yourself who is running multiple locations and we're in the same industry, you get like how hard it is to make those decisions sometimes, but you can't be, standing still when there are people at your door, people waiting for your answers. You have to master that skill and learn that you have to try things. You got to make an answer. You got to make a decision quick, and you will be able to like go through it, experience it, and have a better answer, down the line. So I'm really happy you took that while you were here, because that's a big part for sure. And sometimes I don't even realize it.
And one thing that I also like thought, like, because I looked at back at it and I was like, fuck, because like a lot of the times when I'm making decisions, I'm like, that decision wasn't the best decision, but I was like, I'll figure it out later, because I have like 5 to 10 other decisions I have to make within the next hour.
Exactly.
So I'm like, all right, whatever, just come back with me later on and we'll figure it out later.
You get it, man. You get it. Yeah, I'm happy you came. Spent some good times together.
Very good times.
That's right. Went to the gym. That was fun, right?
It was fun. One funny thing was one funny thing, like when I first met you, so like one thing that I really met about him was like I met him in about 21, 22. And I tell this story was where like we met each other at the Rotate Digital
Yes.
SEO conference, well, Louis Macero conference.
Yeah.
And we met each other, and then like everybody was talking, and he just comes out of nowhere, and then I'm like, oh shit, this guy. And then like he was telling us about he had like 40 trucks at the time, and I was like, oh shit. And then like just to see the growth about everything, you went from 40 to 80 in the matter of I don't know how many trucks have you I think I heard a video about you saying that, but like going from there to now, it's like the growth has been like crazy. So I'm like, dang, like what he's doing is like he must be doing something right. So like I appreciate the time that you take out to have me here and just hang out here.
Of course, man. Yeah, we're sitting at like I think 75 trucks or so. I lose count sometimes, but it's obviously you saw the people that are here, right?
Yeah.
They put in their heart, they put in everything. Like the people you met here that, obviously I think it was Friday when everybody was walking through the door, everybody that was walking through that door were genuine people, were good people that want to make a difference here, and that's my biggest thing that I care about, to have genuine people around me, because it's so easy to lose control of that, and if you say the wrong thing one time, or look them the wrong way, or yell, or whatever, in any way say the wrong thing, you will lose that respect from them, and they'll continue to stay here for the money. They'll continue with the fake smiles, and that is my biggest fear, that these people that are here will give me their fake side, and they'll give me their fake smiles, and that's absolutely my biggest fear, because everyone that came through here, you saw I connected with them in every single way possible. I spent a lot of time here in this office, and I care about those people in every way. And for them to actually be happy here, for them to actually want to make a difference, for them to care about the franchisees and everything we stand for is a big goal for me. And I think that's the biggest strength we have right now, that these are actually good people that work here and they actually want to make a difference, and let's get moving. They come here to be effective, to be efficient, not to just waste time and just get a paycheck and leave, right?
Right. And I also think like the culture that's been here, like I was welcomed, and like as soon as I walked through the door, everybody was like, oh, hey, nice to meet you, everything like that. And I was like, damn, I'm welcomed.
Yeah.
And like everybody was happy. Like even though like people came through the door through the problems, like your people were laughing.
That's right.
About some of the problems that you guys were having. And like you had a meeting and everybody is like talking about the meeting, and they're just bringing up certain problems, and you guys still had a laugh about it. So like the culture was one of the big things that I really got out of here. And like everybody wanted to be here. Like I walked around, I'm recording, and like a couple of people like try to hop in the video, and they're like this, and I was just like, I threw up my thumbs up, and it was a good time. So like to really build that out, especially when you have a team this big, not only about that, but like everywhere else, like that's very inspiring to say, hey, like you still have a good culture, and everybody still wants to be here at the end of the day. Like, you got people here on a Sunday.
Yeah, the sales team are killing it for sure. I'm very grateful for that, man, because people are not easy, you know, and if you take the wrong step, they'll be affected by that, and they'll be on that wrong path with you and with the company forever. So that was a hard thing to build, and I think it has a lot to do with the good managers that are in place, that are building a good department, good environment. So I'm definitely very grateful for the people that are here, and I'm glad you felt welcome. That's important in every way possible. We have a lot of franchisees coming in, right? And for them to come in for training, spend 6 days with us, come in or potentially want to buy a location, for them to feel welcome is huge, right?
Exactly.
So I'm glad you experienced that. That means a lot. Now tell me a little bit about you. Tell me about all the businesses that you've had until now, legal or illegal. Tell me how you got here.
Okay, so very funny you asked this question. I've always wanted to talk about it on a podcast, but we'll go ahead and let it out now. So, growing up, let's start off with where I kind of grew up and where I kind of first started was in high school. I was an athlete. I ran cross country and I ran a lot of miles. I'm sure you see it on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that because, like, growing up, running all those miles, going to practice every single day, it created a lot of discipline that I use in business now till today. And I was supposed to run D1, which is basically for very prominent colleges, but I got injured. I was running too much and doing too much work. Wow. So I broke I stress fractured my foot and my hip. And then after that, I became a high schooler, which was, fucking around and basically just being a high schooler, smoking weed and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And then after high school, I got into, I'm from California, so the trade of business, which was weed. Mm-hmm. So was doing that for a very long time. Was doing that in high school. And then after that, I was successful in that. And then I started getting into sales, which was Sprint. So I was selling cell phones for a short amount of time.
Okay.
But the one thing that I learned about working from there was that a lot of SOPs, so a lot of standard operating procedures. Yeah. And then after that, I got a little bit of in trouble. And then I had to, I left Sprint and then I got into another job, which was In-N-Out. And I only got into In-N-Out because I got in trouble for selling weed at the time. And then In-N-Out was probably one of the best things that's happened to me because their SOPs and the way that they carry themselves. Mm-hmm. And In-N-Out, real quick, In-N-Out is one of the biggest or one of the best burger joints in the States. You guys probably have never heard about it or ate it.
I've had it, yeah.
Oh, you've had it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, their SOPs and, like, the way that they carry themselves and the happy employees was, like, eye-opening because I'm like, dang, you guys are so happy to be here. But, like, when I looked back and I pulled back the onion, there was a lot that they did, part of the SOP, to look that and the way that they felt and everything that they did. So I worked there for a little bit. And then after that, I had got into taxes. So I had my C-Tech license. So I did taxes for a little bit.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And then I'm trying to think. After that, I got into moving industry. Mm-hmm. I was an investor into the moving company, which was about in 2017. Mm-hmm. And then I took over the moving company in 2019. And then from 2019 to now, I grew the business. And then I took over the business. And then now we've got into our San Francisco branch, or our Bay Area branch, where we have 3 locations. And then we have one location in Tucson. And then we're opening up another location in Arizona, Phoenix. So in short,
you're coming to my town.
Yes. We were both talking about that earlier.
That's right. I love Phoenix. I'm glad you're going there.
Yeah.
We're going to be hanging out more.
Yes. So in short, that's pretty much what it was. And I think in the early years when I started off and, with the discipline and then coming into the other businesses, like that really got me prepared and prepped for the moving industry, because the moving industry is so different. But one of the things that I really like take from like the earlier businesses, which was probably the marijuana industry, where it's like it's very hard to scale because it's more on the black market. And then when you get into the moving industry, it's like you can scale as much as you want because you could be known, and like the risk you're taking with the marijuana industry, it's so hard.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Right. It's so hard. So like whenever I come into like the moving industry, like the risk, I don't care about the risk because I took so many risks beforehand. And that didn't matter to me. But now when I come into the moving industry, I'll take as many risks as I can because it's more so like regulated versus the other industry. So I'm like fuck it, I don't care. I'll do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So with taxes, how did you get into that, and how was your experience with that? I've heard from your girl that obviously you're a numbers guy.
Yep.
So tell me how you got into that.
So with the taxes, I paid I would say it was not a franchise fee exactly. It was a, what's the other thing besides franchise? It was, there's franchise. Oh, it was licensing. So I licensed a tax company. And then from there, I opened up my own tax firm. I got my C-Tech license. And then I was able to start my own business, and I was doing taxes from there. One thing that I've learned from there is that the numbers, and then how much you put or how much you put there really makes a difference. So like I really understood that the numbers and like the metrics of everything like that. So I really took that part and I put it into business. So like when I'm doing taxes for my business, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let's just put it over in this chart of accounts. It doesn't make a huge difference because like when I see a lot of people, they're talking about like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? I'm like, bro, you're not making over $1 million a year, so it doesn't fucking matter. So it just, they're not caring about you. If you're making this much amount of money, they're gonna care about you. So like one thing that it's really taught me about that business was like making sure the numbers were on point, but also making sure like, hey, if this number is out of whack, then this point is out of whack. So I'm really happy that I got into that business because it also helped me know the taxes of my business and like where I could, pull from and things like that.
Yeah, that's probably where a lot of the entrepreneurs are lacking. I think taxes are really tough, and that's why everybody obviously always hires an agency. So you do your own taxes?
No, definitely not.
No?
So we have a CFO. Our CFO helps out with the taxes. One thing that that really helped was like, knowing about that, where it's like, okay, you could take that money and then you could put that money over there, so it's a tax deduction. So me knowing that, and then also my CFO knowing that, like really helped out. I mean, do you have a CFO, or do you like kind of understand that as well too? I'm sure with your company size, you have those certain things, right?
Right now I have 2 bookkeepers who are kind of managing the day-to-day, and then we pass along everything to an agency that I've been working with for about 7 years now. He just kind of handles everything, my US, Canadian locations, all the taxes, personal, everything is just under one umbrella, so he takes care of everything. And he always tries to minimize the taxes I have to pay, right?
Right.
So he's pretty good at that. It's been really good till now. He's handled everything well. We've gotten audited. He's managed it. Everything's been fine.
Where have you got audited at? Was it Canada or US?
Canada. We got audited for payroll aspect of it, and he handled it. I didn't hear anything about it, so that's always good news to me. When there's no second step, third step, I was like, all right, keep it, wherever, whatever happened. So it seems like you're buying businesses, right?
Yep.
What's making you buy businesses and not start your own? Tell me your journey with that.
So there's a little bit of two options that I'm going about, right? The first thing was like everybody talks about like there's this, at least in the US, right? There's this big transfer of wealth from all of the baby boomers, which are people like 50, 60, 70, that don't want to continue their business, and their kids don't want to continue their business.
Yeah, of course.
So I was like, man, like let me get into that. And I got the first deal in Tucson, which was, I think it was listed for 200,000 USD. And then I got it for like 100,000, and then all I had to do was put down. I got it for seller finance, and all I had to do was put down a little bit of money, and then take the business over. And I was like, and she was retiring. She didn't want to be in the business anymore. Her kids didn't want to take over the business. So I was like, maybe that's a good way to grow through acquisitions.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
And then there was another business in Dallas I put in an offer for. Same exact thing. It was a $4 million business. All I had to put down was $60,000.
Wow.
I put in an offer. I didn't get that business because they didn't accept that offer. But I think in a future time, they're probably not going to keep the business going because their financials look like shit. And then another business in Phoenix, they had the same exact thing where I was going to put down a down payment and then take over the business. But I think what it comes down to is comparing and contrasting. I don't know how I wanted to see if acquisition was the best route to grow or, through just starting a new location and then growing through that. So there's like a lot of options. I'm testing a lot of things out.
Yeah.
I don't know at this time, but I mean, it all depends on what's best for you and that time.
Yeah.
And like for me, I just want to try everything out. Like I don't know what's gonna work until I try it out. Like for you, example, how come like you wanted to go through franchising and like not buying businesses or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, I never really looked at it that way. I never really thought about buying somebody's business. I think it's definitely a great idea. If they're at a stage where they're making good money and they have nobody to pass it down to and they want to retire, you're catching them at that perfect stage. So I think you're definitely onto something here, right? I'm just too lazy to go look out for these things and try to find these things. We know how to start a business because I've got a full, infrastructure where we can start advertising, find a location, hire and train an operations manager, and start getting bookings, right?
Right.
So I've kind of mastered that aspect because that's the skill I need to be able to actually franchise, right? For people to be able to start a business from scratch with our brand. Instead of buying a business, instead of buying a location. But if you're not franchising and you want to like grow your own brand and grow your own portfolio, I think you're definitely onto something buying businesses. If you find them at that right stage, it seems like a perfect purchase where you can take on and continue to grow that business at a good stage they are at, where they don't personally want to continue. It's the perfect time to step in and take over that business. So I definitely think you're onto something, my friend.
I think also like when you take a look at the business, like it's cash flowing, and like when it's cash flowing, it's like okay, it's making like $100,000-$200,000 a year, and then all you have to take a look at how much value can I add to doing that. So it's like okay, all I have to do is hire a manager, enter marketing. The manager is going to cost me $60,000, $70,000 a year. If I add marketing to it, it's going to add another, I don't know, 500, 600,000 on there. So it's like, all I have to do is plug, play, and then I don't have to start off from the beginning again.
Little adjustments, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like they already have all the tools. Yeah. So I'm
really
just like,
idea.
I'm just like, all right, that doesn't make a huge difference. So then I can move on to the next thing. Also, if I just have to put down a down payment, which is like the seller financing, because a lot of people are open to seller financing.
Really?
Yeah, super open.
Wow.
And like you could kind of however you want it. Like you could even put it like, I'm not gonna pay you for one whole year, and then after that I can pay you $20,000 a month, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do it. You could make the terms on however you want to make it. So that's how I did it with the last bot that I buy. And then because you have all the leverage, because if nobody wants to buy it, who the fuck wants to run a moving company at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So like,
who are you doing business with exactly? Who are you getting this like the financing from to be buying these businesses?
it's from the seller.
From the seller.
So the seller is like, okay, I'll hold the note, and then if I hold the note, just pay me $5,000 a month, because nobody's gonna want to.
So you're not even going through banks or anything.
No, not at all.
Holy shit!
You're not going through anything. All you're doing is
super smart. I should get my franchisees to do that.
Yeah.
I should get them to finance a business in their city that's already generating cash flow.
Yeah, and they don't
And take it from there.
They don't
That's
ask
a smart
you.
idea, bro.
They don't ask you for anything. All they ask you, if they have a
They
warehouse,
already know their business is making money.
right? They don't ask you for anything. All they do is like they'll be like, okay, whatever. If they're working with a broker, all they have to look at is maybe like a couple of things, like are you in collections with anything like that? And then they'll be like, okay, like my landlord that I have in Arizona, all he looked at was like, do you have any collections or anything like that? And then it was it. It literally closed right away. And like my landlord gave me the lease like right off the rip.
You are onto something, my friend.
Yeah. It's big in the U.S. I mean, like
that.
but the thing is, like, what our our mentor Lewis was talking about, like acquiring all these businesses and then selling it up with a roll up.
Yeah, that's what he's into now, right?
So like that's what I'm trying to get into, and that's what I want to start doing, and then take all the businesses I buy, and then roll it up into clutch moving, whatever it is, and then maybe sell it in the future, whatever it may be.
I love it. That's really good advice, my friend. I've got some good questions here that my team wrote, and I've also got some questions of my own. I'll go with my team's question first. I'll go with the easy ones.
I want to hear the hard one first.
No, I'm saving those for later.
All right.
So you've scaled Clutch from 100K to 6 million. What was one risky move that scared the crap out of you, but totally paid off?
Scaling during COVID, where I was just buying a bunch of. So I was very new when it came into COVID, like 21, 22, and that was only my second or third year in business. And I thought I had everything figured out, but I had no process or anything like that. And
that was a good time you started, my friend.
Good time. And I was like, oh man, I must be doing something great. And one big risk that I took, so like I scaled throughout the summer, and then when it came to winter time, I didn't process that it was going to be slower during the winter time.
Yeah, of course.
So what I had to do, and I'll tell everybody about this, where I had to take out a loan during the winter time to cover cover all the expenses during the wintertime from November to January, because my overhead was so fucking high. And I was like, all right, let me take out the loan. And I did that for like 21, 22, and I had to cover all the expenses. And like, I know a lot of people will probably be like, no, fuck that. I wouldn't do that. Like, you're crazy. Like, why would you keep doing that? Like, the business is not doing good. But like, I didn't know that there was a seasonality to the business. So I took out those loans and then, got them paid off. But now I'm here, and now I could adjust because my CFO could plan accordingly for that.
Nice.
And that was one of the big things that like I really took back, like, plan accordingly, because like you don't know how the business is going to go, but there's also seasonality to it. If I didn't take out those loans, then I wouldn't be here now.
Yeah, of course, man. If you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and if you know that this business is going to get to a place where it's going to sustain itself, you have to take those risks. You have to get a loan, especially with a seasonal business. So as long as you see the light and you're able to come out of the tunnel, you gotta do some risky shit like that, my friend.
I've done a lot of risky shit. Like, I've done like the craziest of the craziest. Like, I've thrown money at a bunch of shit and saying like, is this gonna work or is it not gonna work?
That's right.
And at the end of the day, like, I don't care, because like I'm gonna learn from it.
Of course.
So I'm like, all right, let me just throw 10, 20,000.
Yeah.
If it works, it doesn't work, but then I won't do it again.
Exactly.
So that's how
you'll
I look
know
at
what
it.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
Fail fast, win fast.
Exactly.
What's your biggest time waster in your day that you secretly love? I didn't write these, but I do like them.
My biggest time waster that I secretly love. One of the biggest time wasters that I used to have. I'll give you two. Number one was being in the office, and like people would come to me and they would ask me like fucking questions that they know that on themselves.
Yeah, I love those.
And I always tell them, I always like revert back to them. I'm like, so what would you do if I wasn't here?
Yes, I love that. I always say that too. I'm like, so what is your answer? Tell me that first before I give you mine.
Right. And I'm telling them like, what would you do if I wasn't here?
Stop coming to me with problems. Come to me with problems and solutions.
Right.
Multiple solutions. We'll choose one.
Right. And I tell them like the same exact thing, like, what would you do? And I would do this. I'm like, okay, do it. Then like, nicely. Don't ask me then. The second thing is probably social media.
Yeah.
So like I'll be on social media, or I'll trying to see new things and like.
Yeah.
But I downloaded an app called I think it's called like Buy Back Your Time or something like that. So it blocks all of the things that you want to block on a daily basis. So but those were the main things, like social media and then having people there. But now I essentially work from home, or I work from like coffee shops or wherever I want to work from. Yeah.
You don't work in the office anymore?
No, I don't work in the office.
Really?
Yes. So like, but I also think that working from the office creates like more so like stability for your managers at each of the locations to make decisions on their own and then figure everything out on their own.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, don't ask me. You guys know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then like, if something goes wrong, then we can figure it out. And then like, we look at the financials after, and we're like, okay, you made the right decision on this, and this, and then we'll fix whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm a big person on like, you know, make the mistakes.
Yes.
Not only about me, but everybody else. Make the mistakes,
Yeah.
and then we'll figure it out later, and we'll correct the mistakes.
Yeah, that allows them to be the leaders we really want them to be, right?
Yeah. So like, let me ask you this before you get into the next question.
Yeah.
Like, what about you?
I think social media is a big time waster of mine too. I think that's a thing I'm guilty of,
Yeah.
and I definitely love PlayStation. I love playing FIFA. I'll say this all the time. I love playing that game. So, you know, when I come home from like a long day, I know I've got like an hour or two before going to sleep, and that'll be the one thing that'll kind of get me away from like the daily stress, the decision making, and all the things I got to go through on a daily basis. I feel like that's the one time, that's the little bit of time where I can shut off my brain and not have to use it for an hour. And I think we all need that, you know?
Did you play soccer when you were younger?
Yeah, I did. That's how I tore my knee. I actually have another surgery coming up in like 5 days.
So like, I thought he was kidding about it because like I asked him to run 10 miles and he's like, I tore my knee. And I was like, bullshit.
No, I really did. But even if I didn't, I wasn't going to run your 10 miles. That shit is fucking crazy.
But then I told you about that earlier when we worked at the gym and you're like, I was just kidding.
Yeah, I was so happy you didn't bring the right shoes.
I didn't bring the right shoes.
I was like, this is the perfect excuse for me. I'll lift for like 2 hours, but running
yeah. Running's tough.
is not my cup of tea. But sometimes I know I need it.
Yeah.
And I'll literally put on David Goggins on like compilations on freaking repeat on YouTube, and I'll just hear that guy yelling at me, and if for some reason I'll freaking run 10 miles watching that guy. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And I watched your video on the the little skit you did on David.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious, man. I show that everywhere.
Yeah, that's so funny. I think but David Goggins, no, he's been great. Like as far as like motivational people, like one thing I did want to ask you too, like as far as like your motivational people, like who do you kind of like, you've grown this big company, right? You've grown a really big company in a very short amount of time. Like who do you look up to that keeps you motivated on a daily basis?
You know, I've always mentioned that Louis Massaro has been like a great person who kind of paved the way, paved the path for us, you know, moving company owners, and we finally had somebody to look up to as someone in our industry. And I think everybody that is on that path is motivational to me. You know, there are so many people you see online, on Instagram, everywhere, and as long as they have that mindset, they're definitely my mentor. I use everybody as mentors, you know. Right now, I wouldn't say I have a single person, but there are so many people that I listen to, that I believe in, because they have that exact same mindset of wanting to grow, wanting to be better every day, and most importantly, knowing that they are the only thing that can bring down or up their business. You know, their personal life is a huge part to their business. So if they're able to have the right mindset, have the growth mindset for their people, for their business, I look up to them.
Like to add on that, like I think, at least for me, like when I got my personal life together, and then everything else in business kind of like
fell in place.
Yeah, fell in place because like get ready, you know, build the right relationships, get into fitness, build a discipline, and then that all transfers over to your business. So
exactly,
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, you're the only thing that can drag down your business, man. So you got to elevate your personal life.
Yep.
And your business will follow.
Yeah,
right. You're just tied into it.
I think that's like one of the biggest things that people don't really necessarily understand or know, because like they think about just focus solely on the business, and then like everything else will come. But like, what about your home life?
Yes.
What about your diet?
Absolutely.
What about this? What about that? And if all that is going bad, it brings more stress into the business. So like, fix all that before you really want to scale your business.
That's right, man.
And like when I really focused on that, I was like, damn, like just focus on that and everything else will follow.
Yeah. I mean, if you can create consistency in different parts of your life,
right,
you are most definitely going to bring it in your business.
Right.
You know?
Create those SOPs in your life.
Yes, exactly.
And then everything else will follow.
All right. Yeah. I've seen some cool social media posts. The David Goggins ones was really cool.
Yeah.
You had another one that went viral.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your social media.
Social media, like it's funny because like I heard you talk about it when I was sitting in on your meetings. Like, so I'm using my social media as leverage for the future to buy more businesses. So it's like, all right, look good on my social media. I haven't really focused on my my company one, but I just hired a social media strategist for that. But like the whole process when I first started it was like, okay, we're gonna get the social media looking right. We're gonna get everything up to speed. Like we're gonna showcase my skill set, the charisma, everything behind it. This, being able to navigate everything because we're gonna use that as leverage to, either scale or buy more businesses. So one little thing that I do want, like a story that I do want to say, whereas like when I first acquired the business and even the other acquisitions I was trying to get, I told them like, look me up on social media, whatever it is. Here's my social media, and like they knew everything I was speaking. And then because of my social media, I talked about interior designers, which is one of the companies I bought, and they were like, oh, he knows what he's talking about, and it's such a niche industry that since I knew about it, they gave me $100,000 discount.
Wow.
So I'm using that as it's like more for or so like a long-term game where I'm like get everything up to speed, get everything up to par, look good on social media. So when I do want to make that purchase, when I do want to create that relationship,
yes,
all they have to do is look me up on social media and they're like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. He's not full of shit.
Yeah.
He's smart. He knows this business. He knows that. And that's why sometimes I get detailed in some of like the facts that we talk about so they can look it up.
Yeah.
So I've always used that as leverage, and I've never like it's not just like bullshit. Maybe in the very beginning, but now it's it's more so like showcasing the skill set to everybody else because you could learn a lot from a person just from social media.
That's right. I agree.
Yeah. So like, what about you? Like, I mean, like I know that you're focusing on it. You just started your Instagram. Like, your fucking post went viral of like a piece of tape.
Yeah. The mattress video on Let's Get Moving absolutely went viral, and we posted that different versions of it a couple of times. Man, it's been crazy. The first one we posted got us like 22,000 followers from one video. Bro. I was like, holy shit. So this is what we went from like, I don't know, 2,000 followers to 22,000.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, holy shit. It was
crazy. Yeah, and that really helped us actually generate a lot of jobs. Now we're probably between the $15,000 to $20,000 per month that we're generating from the social media, the company one, the company account. That's getting us moves from U.S., Canada, everywhere really. With Let's Get Moving, obviously now we are focused on B2C with that account because we want people to get to know who Let's Get Moving is and for them to want to book a move with us and trust us and see who we are and how we do things. And a couple of viral posts absolutely helps with that. That's for sure.
Right.
And with the personal, which I'm hiring a couple of new people now for social media. I need help to be able to target B2B with the personal account, to be able to motivate people to want to buy their own business, want to start their own business, want to potentially buy Let's Get Moving, right? A franchise business that they can see how it works and all other aspects of it in through really my personal one. So with personal, my goal is to target B2B, get people to buy their own business, buy Let's Get Moving, hopefully. And with the company account, it's strictly to get people to buy, our moving services, right? And help people with tips and things like that so that in case, they're doing a DIY move, they can learn like that mattress video, right? They can learn how to move a mattress a lot easier.
Right.
So yeah, a couple of good posts. So that went viral, and now we just got to find out more components of those so that we can get more viral videos and keep growing from there. So hopefully the two new staff that we're hiring for the social media is going to help with that. Right now, influencers are huge,
right?
And if people trust in influencers, they're following them for a reason. And right now, like obviously, Piece of Cake is doing it really well. I watched, majority of their growth has come through influencers.
Yeah.
So I'm strongly focused on this right now. I've got a whole campaign starting on this. What we're doing is that we are targeting influencers on actual platforms. There are companies out there that have influencers in them, and you go there, you create your own brand, and you can contact these influencers. And we're doing 3 different ways where we're actually offering like a free move to them for them to give us in return, exchange their service with us to give us, a post and tag us on their profile. And hopefully they've got over 100,000, 200,000 followers. And that makes a huge difference.
Huge.
You get lots of jobs from those. So that's a huge one. Second one is that we actually want them to make a post, and per job that they give us, they get commission on those. Or the third one, which we don't want to leave any stones unturned. So we're doing all 3. And the last one is you pay a big amount initial, like let's say $3,000 for a post. They've got a huge following. They put a post, and we can get jobs through that as well, right? So these are the 3 different aspects of working with influencers that we are touching up on. And we're using, many different landing pages so we know exactly which influencer this is coming from.
Right.
You got to track everything, of course, right? Just
Got
like
to.
influencers, you got to treat each and every one of them like a different referral source. So one thing I got from you spending these couple of days with you was you work with staging companies.
Interior designers.
Definitely
not staging companies.
We call them staging companies here.
Staging companies are fucking cheap as fuck. Interior designers, they deal with affluential,
higher end level.
Yeah,
Okay,
higher end level. Yeah.
Let me know a little bit about, obviously you acquired a staging company in Tucson,
Yeah.
Arizona. Let me know a little bit about how is it working with them? How do you set up a program with them? And how is it buying this company?
Yeah, so all right, so let's start off with interior designers on its own. So interior designers, they essentially have a client that they purchase furniture for. And then instead of sending the furniture to their actual house that they just bought,
Yeah,
they
that
send
would
it,
be crazy, right?
Yeah, they send it over to our warehouse. And at the warehouse, they inspect it. So they open up the box, they look at it, see if there's any damages, because a lot of times there's damages. And then after that, we store it. And then we leave it in the warehouse. Then after that, we charge, it's called a shipping fee. So we have to take it out of the container, which is our storage vault. And then we move it. So essentially it's 4 business or, categories where we charge them on. And then we, get paid for it. It's such a niche business. So that's actually so last year that was, I think, one of our highest referral sources.
Really?
So because it's consistent, they have the storage, they have the receiving, they have the moving. And then the good thing about it is during the winter time, it stays consistent because that's their busiest time, because like November, December, October, they all want to get new furniture. Also, because they're such an affluential client, they buy a bunch of furniture before the new year to deduct their taxes.
Wow. I gotta get into that shit.
Yeah, it's such a good business. And then the way that we get that business is through we do a lot of cold calling. We've got most of our business through cold calling with our setters, and then setting up with an account manager, and the account manager handles everything from point A to point B.
Really?
Yeah. And then it's just consistent. It's so consistent. And then also, like, during the wintertime, like, why I like it so much is during the wintertime, that's our busiest time. And then, for moving, that's our slowest time.
That's right.
So it's a balance. So we stay consistent throughout the whole year because of that.
Give me a little bit of that process. I think a lot of moving companies that might be listening to this could really use this and would be beneficial for their business. So tell me exactly how you go about cold calling them, how you set them up, and so on.
So here we go like this. So first and foremost, what we'll do is we'll buy a list. We'll buy a list of whatever area that we're in. We'll buy a list on emails and also phone numbers. We'll buy a list of interior designers, and then we know that they need our service in order to do business. So we'll buy the list. First thing we'll do is typically we'll run either a Facebook campaign, which is we'll upload that whole list, get a lookalike audience of it, and the video will be like, "Hey, are you an interior designer? If you are, click through," and we'll have a landing page on that.
Imagine being an interior designer and seeing that post. You're like, what the fuck?
What the fuck's going on, right?
How the fuck do they know?
Exactly. Second thing we'll do is we'll run an offer through emails. So like for interior designers, because we know the customer acquisition costs, like we'll make it super high, because we know that after a couple of months, it goes down because they refer us so much business. Interior designers are typically 7 to 8 jobs a year, depending on how big the jobs are. So we'll do an offer of anywhere 1 to 2,000 on your first project off on that.
Nice.
And then after we acquire them, that'll typically set up a what's it called, discovery call, and then it'll be with one of our our cold callers, and then we'll ask them 10 questions. If it's a good fit, then we'll transfer it over to our account manager. They'll have a Zoom call. And then after that, well, they typically have a project that they want to move forward with us on, and we'll have a contract that we send them over. And then from that project that they have, they'll have a PO order, and then we'll give them an estimate. And then from there, we'll bring them on board, and then they order furniture for their clients, and they'll send it over to our warehouse.
Yeah, this is something I definitely don't do.
Yep.
And I find it such an interesting way of getting consistent business.
Yeah.
This is really nice. And obviously a lot of us are doing storage, so being able to get both from one customer and not having to continuously advertise for them and get consistent job from this is huge, man.
One thing that I also would say too is that, since it's consistent, it comes in, store it, couple of months, goes out. It comes in, store it, couple months, goes out.
Wow.
So it's in, out. So, and then you're charging the receiving fee to inspect it on every single one.
Oh, you do that too.
Yeah, so it's good business.
I love it, man.
And I think that's really what kept us afloat, like during some of the hard times.
I love that.
Because with interior designers, it never goes with the economy, because you're interior designers, there's so much money with it. So like if it's bad for the economy, it's good for the people that are buying the furniture, because it's like the furniture would go down, and then they're like, oh, for like a person that has money, they're like, okay, a sale, so we'll buy it. And it's good when it's bad.
I love it, man. This is a huge one, because it really, really complements what we do, and we're like the perfect fit for them. And not targeting them, I feel like I've been blind this whole time. So that's a really good strategy. I'm gonna definitely use. Thank you for your help. That was really nice. I think a lot of moving companies are gonna learn from that as well. So that's really good advice you're giving. Yeah. Thank you.
So, like, real quick before we get into the next question, what about you? How has been your
That was all my questions.
Sources? Huh?
That was all my questions. You did really good, my friend. You gave me some really good insight that I'm going to use in my company. So I appreciate that.
I want to ask you, like, now that I could throw it back on you, like, as far as, like, you've grown significantly. What were some of the biggest things that you've, overcame through your growth process of your company?
I mean, now that I started franchising, I feel like I've completely started a brand new business. It's been such a different experience than just running trucks, moving people. It's been a complete different world. Now I'm dealing with trying to provide freedom to people, for them to be able to buy their time back by having a good business, by, being an entrepreneur. In franchising, just really making sure that I can actually provide them real value. That's been the biggest thing that I'm striving for every day, to give them a good business, a good location, a good SOP, good back end. Because what we do is pretty much everything in the back end: marketing, sales, customer service. Where they come in is take care of the job, execute the service, make the customers happy. And we have to provide SOPs for everything, and even train their movers, train their drivers, train them, right? They come here for 6-7 days. So there are two different businesses, and overcoming COVID was huge in the moving business after COVID, because we scaled so much, going to over 40 trucks, and then business just died in a matter of a couple of months. Business just went from like 100 to 0, real quick, and that was the biggest challenge for me, because I had lots of trucks to pay for, insurance, offices, staff, operations managers. And I had to
pivot.
Yes, and that was really when I came up with franchising, right? And I sold so many locations in Canada. Thank God our brand was big. We brought our trucks to these shows. So I was able to sell a lot of locations, and that allowed me to keep my businesses afloat, be able to invest into this new franchising. So really kind of going from a business that went through 10 years of growth, but in only a matter of 3 years, which was during COVID, because everything the demand was just huge, right?
Right.
We got so many jobs, and we expanded. We grew the business, and then when the business died, everything just came to a halt. And if I didn't have this franchising world to depend on, to sell the brand, to get people to invest more into the brand and into us, that would have been really hard to be able to stay afloat. So a lot of people trusted in the brand, trusted in the business, and the industry came back, after a year or two.
2 years,
everything's, things are a lot more back to normal, like before COVID.
Not as much as it
Yeah,
was.
definitely not as much, but it's gone back to a little bit more of a normal
business.
Yeah. You need good people, right? The movers are dealing with people. The operations managers are dealing with the movers, which are the people, My kind of district manager are dealing with all the operations, which are the people. And our franchise business are the people. They're dealing with people, right? So it's all about the people. It comes down to that. I think I've surrounded myself with excellent individuals who have such kind hearts and such devotion to like everything they do. There are certain fucking people in the world that are just good people, man. Are just good people. When they come in, from the moment they show up until the last minute they leave, they are just on point in every way. And they have no bad intentions. They have no like side motivations, side motives. They're just here to do good. And I've got several of them, but every time I speak about this, there's one guy that stands above it all.
Which is?
His name is Kelvin.
I seen him right here, and he brought him to Miami.
Yes.
And tell us a little about Kelvin.
About Kelvin. Kelvin's an amazing individual. He actually owns his own franchise location as well. But he's kind of that like perfect person that you want to be with, around, spend time with. Like I love it when he's in my room. He's kind of the guy I work with the most.
Yeah.
He's just so intelligent, so on point with running the entire business. They literally call him TM 2.0 because he's like the better version of me. And it's so funny because he deals with everything in my life, right? Like he'll call the banks and he's got to pretend to be me. He'll do this, he'll do that. And all the time, he just does what I have to do on a daily basis, which allows me to like deal with all these decision making and deal with all the people and the problems and everything, because I don't have to be kind of in my own shoes, with dealing with all the day-to-day work. He's there with me every step of the way. And, I start my day with 20 messages to him. Like if you look at my phone right now, I've already saved 20 messages that I have to send to him as soon as Monday 7:30 comes. I have to send him, that big text message. He's going to add it into our task list. He works through that. He's kind of the guy who manages all my bigger tasks, more complicated tasks of the day. And he's got such a good heart that it makes working with him like a breeze,
Easy.
Yeah. I like coming to work because I get to spend time with him. I get to, have a day where I know when there are hard things happening, he'll be there by my side to make good decisions with me, to help me through everything. So whenever I talk, and I've got many of those good people, right?
Yep.
But whenever I talk about people, he's like that top guy that always comes to my mind, right? And he's so uncomfortable always. Every time I tell him this shit, I'm like, bro, I fucking love you. I'm like, he's like, stop. This shit makes me uncomfortable. Don't talk about it. Yeah. No.
So let me add on that real quick, right?
Yeah.
So like, you've got a big network, right? And like, you have a lot of people that trust you. I'm sure that franchisees trust you, the brand, trust everything else that you have going on. What do you think attracts those people to you? Because for somebody to trust somebody with that amount of money, trust them to go 5-10 years to make money,
Yes.
that takes a lot. What do you think personally that you do differently that attracts those people? Because there's a lot of people that sell franchises and fail, but like, what do you think that your company and then you do specifically different?
I think the most important part of people actually wanting to trust us and the brand is that
Do they trust you? Think they trust? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
They trust you or the brand?
I never want to say me, just because I don't look at me as one person. I think there's so many people that make me who I am. But yeah, if people trust me, I think the biggest reason is that I drink my own Kool-Aid. And what I mean by that is that I have nothing else going for me but the moving industry. And the business and the franchise business that I sell, I have 10 of it myself.
Right.
And the way I'm able to bring this franchising to life and make it a real thing is with all the money I've made in the moving industry. All the money I've made with my own locations that allows me to grow the brand into a much bigger thing than just a moving company.
Okay.
Right? So I think that would be the biggest factor, that I practice what I preach. Everything
Right.
I tell the franchisees on a daily basis, it's from me doing it myself. Everything I've learned and everything that I teach them is by doing it myself, seeing it works, and then I pass on that knowledge to them. So everything is kind of real, man. Everything that I do is like not shit that I haven't done, right? Everything I do is through the 10 locations, 70 plus trucks that I run every day. It's through that. That's where I get my knowledge from. That's where I pass it from. So I think the most important thing is that I do what I want people to do.
Right.
I put my money in the exact same place that I ask people to put their money. Right. The sales center, all the departments that are running here, they work for me just as much as they work for the franchisees.
Right.
Right. So what I ask them to do, what I tell people to put their money on, is exactly what I put my money on every single day.
All right. So like now I want to like really want to get into like more things about the business. I'm sorry if we're going a little bit long, but like
Okay.
like seriously, I think a lot of people will appreciate all the questions I'm going to ask you now, which is like, bro, like what is like your biggest referral source? Like it's so hard to understand where to invest the money to, and I think any other moving company would be like, where the hell should I invest my money to? As far as referral sources, I invest a lot heavily into Google, local services,
Yes.
PPC and everything like that. Like, what is Let's Get Moving on a franchise level? What do they invest most of their money on? And what do they focus on, especially getting into a brand new location?
Yeah, this is a really good question, my friend. And you know what I'll tell you my answer is that every city and every market has a different answer. That's what I've learned. Because I've always thought that, hey, let's go in with a uniform structure and it will work perfectly everywhere.
Okay.
As in, we'll start Google ads, we'll start local services, we'll start SEO, we'll start meta ads, we'll start Bing, we'll start YouTube ads. We'll do all these different things and all of these things should work. But especially when we're starting a new location, we're working with a certain budget. It's not like my locations where I'm willing to spend a lot and put money everywhere and everything will give its share back to me, right? When we're working with franchisees, when let's say they have only $5,000 to invest, I need to know which one is going to be the best source for them. So like when sometimes we'll do Google ads, search campaigns, we'll do LSA, we'll do Bing, we'll do Facebook, and then you see like one does better than the other. For example, right now we work in Marietta and Facebook, Meta does amazing over there.
Okay.
So I have to choose a specific source for each of these locations. This is why I always say fail fast, win fast, because you're never going to know what's going to work the best in your market until you try everything.
Got it. What's your primary, like starting a new business, right? Moving company, whoever it is, like they're still new in the business. What's your primary focus that you tell your franchisees, like, we got to focus on this? Like, is it business development or is it like operations? Is it sales? What is it? Like, if somebody was to start a brand new moving company, what are you telling them to do?
You want to win? You got to fucking do everything right.
Everything.
You got to do everything right, man. Because if you've got marketing on point and you're doing shit in sales, you're gonna waste your marketing effort. If you're good at marketing and you're good at sales, but you've got terrible reviews online, you're gonna be wasting your money and your sales efforts. So if you want to really win, you have to do everything right. There is no other way about it. This day and age, everybody's doing shit properly.
Right.
To stand out in the market, you need to do everything right. You need to have every component on point. You need to have proper marketing in place with proper tracking. You know this. You got to have proper sales structures with great follow-ups. And you got to have a great reputation manager to be able to manage your entire reviews and everything so that when people do find you, when people do speak with your sales department, they have something like good reviews and a good reputation to revert back to and say, you know what, everything seems good. Let's just go ahead and book.
So breakpoints, like there's like a lot of times, like I talk to so many people and they always talk about like their life changed at a certain time in the moving industry. And like I always hear about breakpoints. When did you have a breakpoint in your moving company? Maybe year, revenue, what was it like? Or was it like maybe the higher? Like when did you like say, okay, cool, I can live off of this?
Yeah. I think when COVID started, we were getting crazy
what were
demand.
you before COVID?
I think we were sitting at 15 trucks before COVID.
Okay.
And then during the 3 years of COVID time, I opened a couple of locations. We got to over 40 trucks.
Holy shit.
And
I
was,
hope. I said, I have hope.
Yeah. Yeah, we opened a couple of locations, got lots of trucks.
Would you say that COVID was your break point?
Yes. For the moving company.
For the moving company?
Yes.
And so would you say that your life changed significantly because of the business and everything that came from COVID?
Yeah, the huge income and revenue I was making definitely made it possible to have bigger visions, have this path of franchising in mind. So when COVID stopped, during COVID, that was definitely our breaking point. We made crazy amount of money, man. I think that was the first time I went from like, I don't know, about 8-9 mil to making over 20 mil in a year.
Oh,
so that was
double 50.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely,
shit.
man. I was doing from like one location. I'll show you on the thing on the program. I was doing over 1,000 jobs a month from just one location. It was insane. I was running like 30 trucks from just one location. It was crazy.
1,000 jobs? Like,
Per
what does that
month.
look like a day, bro?
That was like, I don't know, 30 to 50 jobs a day. It was crazy.
That's like, so like whenever we first started, like Louis and Sarah would always talk about like 30 to 50 jobs. I'm like, bro, how did you do that? So
Per
like,
day,
and then
yeah.
you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, I felt like I was moving the city, man. I felt like I was moving the entire city. I was like, shit, this city needs me. I'm like Batman over here.
Was there like a certain revenue that you wanted to like be at, or like was it like, all right, this came and then I had to do this, or was it like, I know that I'm at 5 million, I have to do this? Like, because like a lot of people, there's like so many, even myself, I opened up another location and like like Louis was like, don't open another location. I was like, you have the SOPs and this, that, and the other. Like, was there like a certain thing where it's like, I have to open up another location because of COVID? So like with all the locations that you have, I think it'd be best to hear like, when was a good time to open a location? Did you open it early or did you open it at the right time?
Yeah, I think it's really important to not be running a half-assed location,
Right.
and then wanting to go copy that.
Okay.
You'll just be running 2 half-assed locations.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's important to make sure that your one is running properly, you have good support, and that's what I used. I used my own current managers that were managing an amazing location to go to a brand new city and start from scratch. Right. And obviously now that they're dealing from 30 jobs to 0 jobs, obviously they have time to implement and put in those processes that we had in our good location and copy paste it at a new location. Right. So you got to have good people, good support system, and good processes to be able to really support everything.
Got it. Makes sense. So, I mean, we could go all day because I could really just ask you a million questions, but like, I know that we have like some things that we have to take care of. But
A flight to catch.
A flight to catch. We already missed. I missed my flight, which
Your
is perfectly
first one,
fine.
yeah, thank you. You're so kind.
Missed my flight, but like, so like,
we'll go out to dinner.
we'll go out to
It's
dinner.
okay.
So like, what's one thing? Like, I'm sure like a lot of people that like watch you. What's one thing that like you would tell somebody if they're opening up their location or they're brand new to a location? What's one thing that you would tell them to focus on?
I always talk about personal life. Make sure that you are running yourself at 100% capacity, right? Make sure that you have the right habits, the right consistencies in place so that you can actually support a business, right? If you want to come into a business and think it's a part-time job and want to dedicate a little bit of yourself and a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you're going to be hitting rocks 100%. You need to make sure that your life and your mindset is ready to open a business, to start something that you're going to dedicate yourself to, because you need to dedicate yourself to mastery. You need to dedicate yourself to killing it in this industry to be able to actually making a difference, right? Especially something like moving. This is not a new industry. This is not like AI. You can just come in and create some things and you'll be like the fifth or sixth one in the whole, in the entire industry. There are millions or thousands of moving companies in US and in Canada. So if you want to come in and start a business like a moving company, you need to make sure that your life, your mindset is completely ready to dedicate yourself to your brand and dedicate yourself to going through hard times, going through learning experiences, going through failures, many, many failures to be able to come out winning. And if you're not ready for that, then go buy a franchise. Yes.
What's your biggest failure?
Biggest failure. I have failures every day. They all seem huge.
What's your biggest one though? Like that, like nobody would know about. Like your biggest failure, like the biggest in business. What's the biggest failure? Like I feel like we always talk about our wins, show our wins, show everything. But like, what's the biggest failure?
Till now, I think my biggest failure right now was wasting a lot of money opening a location in Florida. That set me back a lot because
Got sued?
Yeah, I got a lawsuit of another location in Tampa that has the name Let's Get Moving. So now I'm applying for a federal trademark excluding the entire Florida state. I had to move my Florida location to Phoenix now. That's where I'm loving that city, loving the clientele, loving my location. And out of every failure, something good comes out. And I think the best thing that came out of my failure in US in Florida was that I found a great operations manager there, and he was willing to dedicate himself to the brand and to the business. So he actually moved to Phoenix, and now he completely lives there, and he's running my location there. And even out of the biggest failure, something good does come out, and you got to focus on the good and be able to, make the good even bigger and better. So yeah, I got a lawsuit in Florida. I had to change the company name for about 4 to 5 months. That made me spend a lot of money on lawyers. That made me spend a lot of money on relocating. That made me spend a lot of money on rebranding and having to rebrand back to Let's Get Moving. So until now, I think that would be my biggest failure. Going to the US without knowing how tough actually US is, because you guys sue each other for drinking water.
Bullshit, yeah.
For drinking water the wrong way.
Right. That's it. I'm done asking you all the questions.
Good, man. Man, we had a great time here.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me.
Of course,
I love
man.
Canada. My girlfriend said she would move to Canada, but I hope she doesn't.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
We're trying to get out.
Yeah, so.
But no, you guys are amazing people, man. Honestly, I relate to you and your girl with my girl. Everybody, they love each other. I think we have a great relationship since the first day I met you. I think everything has been really good. I think we click each other with each other really good.
Yep.
So, being able to spend time with you and having same mindsets in the same industry is hard to find.
Hard.
So it gives me a great pleasure to spend time with you, have you here.
Thank you.
Do a good podcast with you and go out, hang out together. Obviously, everything in moderation, but
right.
But seriously, like, it's very rare to find people such as yourself that I get to click with and have a good time with. So I cherish this relationship very, very much.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Dinner after.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being on this podcast.
Of course. Thank you.
Not the first and not the last.
Not the last. Yes, exactly.
Good job, my friend.